married another guy.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So does that make me a playgirl? I am a playgirl. It is my choice to do whatever I want to do. Okay? There is no gender here. There is no gender here. Just because, you know, you have something extra, I have something extra in my body. It's as simple as that. But one more thing, I have something more. I can give birth. You can't. And you talk about sperms.
I can give the software to you to give birth.
I don't need your sperms. You know what? Even dog sperms can give birth to a human child. Do you know that?
Okay.
Biology.
Go marry a dog.
Perfect. Women not being married. This is alarmingly becoming more common in Muslim households in the West. Women who have had liberalism as their main belief system are now in their 30s and 40s unmarried and sadly not being a good prospect for a wife for a sensible man.
I think feminism is attempting to say, okay, the first thing we agree on is that there are barriers and friction to what I need and what I want based on the fact that I'm a woman.
I truly feel sorry for the disabled woman because having no legs is one thing, but having absolutely no common sense and brain, that is a whole different monster. Feminism was never about equality. It was about power and dominance. You see, women work hard so they can prove that they don't need a man, they're strong and they're independent. But a man, we work hard to provide and protect our women.
So I'm noticing that your arms are all covered, okay? And your head's covered. And then I'm looking here, and you are dressed, we would consider modestly. You... Yeah, I'm calling... am I calling you a hoe? Nah, man, but they might be, you know what I mean? I'm good with it. Listen, I have something very funny to say, but I'm not going to say it. All right. So my question is, hang on. Your name and where you're from.
I'm Alexa Turkovic. I'm from Pittsburgh. But
She's Croatian, though, by the way.
I'm
White
Croatian,
people, right?
yeah.
If you know Croatian, I saw a picture of her father. She's so Croatian. I have a question for you. When you see them, look at Alexa here, right? Look at Jordan and look at Aaliyah. Alexa, Jordan, they have, and Lucia. The four of them have more skin, every one of them has more skin showing than all five of you put together. How do you look at them?
I personally really like your pants.
thank you.
Thank you. That's what I noticed. I feel like it's your prerogative. You wear what you want. I'm not judging you at all. So.
Yeah.
It's not weird or anything because indoors, like, we wear things like that.
Yeah.
No, say that. Talk right into the mic.
It's not weird. And indoors and between females, we wear things like that.
So between females, you would dress like that,
Yeah.
just not outdoors.
Yeah.
But when you see them, come on, look at Alexa here. When you see her, right? Do you have any? Because Western women look at you and they have certain ideas. So you must have certain ideas about them. Don't be politically correct. What do you think about them? I mean, it's haram, first off. Am I right? For you it is, not for them.
Professor, I'll tell you what I see. On one side, I see ripe blueberries, high off antioxidants. And when we look at the other side, we all get a little bit hungry because I see KFC and Pizza Hut. You see, sexual liberation was dressed up and sold as feminism. You see, these feminists just made up their own rules. It's a bunch of bullocks. When you have moral values and standards, and that is branded as oppression, and it's absolutely obvious these are going to be the results.
Today's youth are fed an even more dangerous lie than the one that was fed about loveless sex. I was told sex doesn't matter. They're being told biology doesn't matter. This is a tragedy. I'm not suggesting we return to some Victorian era notion of sex, or some 1950s era ideal about gender roles. I'm now 43 years old and I'm in the first truly healthy, intimate relationship in my life with my second husband. We recently had a daughter. And in the wake of her birth, I've been thinking a lot about the conversations I'm going to have with her and the conversations I wish I could go back in time and have with young Bridget. I'd tell her, sex can be empowering when you're coming from a position of healthy self-esteem. If you're coming from a place of trauma or insecurity, casual sex won't heal that. In fact, it might set you back and undermine any progress regarding your feelings of self-worth. If you know your value, you're less likely to sleep with someone who doesn't value you. Cherish yourself and you will be cherished. You shouldn't have to withhold sex for a man to respect you. He should respect you regardless. Sexual empowerment has nothing to do with how many people you do or don't sleep with. It has to do with how comfortable you are in your skin, no matter your decision. It's not about waiting until you're in love to have sex. It's about making sure that first you love yourself. Don't ignore that nagging gut instinct telling you sexual liberation leaves you feeling unfulfilled. You can still be sex positive and accept that for you, sex can't be liberated from intimacy and a meaningful relationship. I regret being a slut. I regret it because I regret that those men can say they slept with me. Still, that's how I know I finally value myself. Every woman should feel this way. Sleeping with me is a privilege, and you have to be worthy.
The majority of the time, these cream of the crop of cream gobblers don't regret what they do, but they regret the results.
Are your thoughts and what are your insights around this current trend of applauding childlessness and demonization of motherhood that we're seeing coming from certain corners of women's advice at the moment?
It's do you know what I have to say, it's so alien to me, because when you are from my culture, our parents live for their kids. This is all we see. So what will happen, I remember when I used to go to school with, my friends who are English, and they'd say, oh, my mum and dad are going on holiday, or my mum and dad are going to restaurants. And I'm like, my mum and dad don't go and do anything without us. They just literally, they just live for the kids, and their money is saved for the kids' wedding days, and everything is just like the kids. They center around, probably too much around the children. So my culture was always like, life starts when you have kids. What are you going to do other than that? That's what life is about. And then growing up in an English world where it's slightly more, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. Now, I think the balance is do what gives you a purpose. Now, nothing gives you more of a purpose in life than when you have children, because their sole existence, psychological and physical, depends on you. And I'm not saying do it because you want to, feel loved or anything, but it's the only thing that will exist when you die. So when you don't have children, it's very difficult to see how all this loving memories and intelligence and experiences you've had and not be able to pass that on to somebody. Wouldn't you, if you've had a fulfilling life, want to then pass that legacy and keep yourself alive throughout the generations? And I think what's happened is we're so pleasure seeking that the only thing that is guaranteed is death. And the only thing me and you both know is that we're going to have a funeral. Now, if on that funeral there are still remnants of you, that's a life, that's a beautiful life, and it's going to continue forever. You don't truly die when you have kids.
First of all, we are all men here, and we all have dicks. And I know exactly what you're thinking. This girl is a certified baddie.
She is very gorgeous to me.
Gentlemen, focus, and let's get back on track. I know she is fine as hell. Now, if we were to look at the big picture.
And she says, Patrick, this is very hard for me to say this. And let me tell you why it's very hard. I said, what's that? She says, ever since in high school, I wanted to prove to men that I can beat them. So when I graduated high school and college, I opened up my salon. We do very well. I've made millions of dollars. My people and my work that work at the salon, they do very well for themselves. I drive a nice car, I have a nice house, I have money, I have millions. I don't worry about any of that stuff. You know what decision I made last night? I said, what's that? She says, I want a husband. I no longer want to compete with men. I need them. And I'm like, what? She's saying this in front of 2,000 people with her sister sitting right next to her. And now she's getting emotional. How many 65-year-old women do we have to hear saying that I marched with the feminist movement and I bought into the fact that men are the enemy? I've never been married. I'm alone and I'm miserable and I wish I would have never bought into that philosophy.
This is one of the perfect scams and manipulation by the Matrix to separate the man and the woman so they can end their family bloodline, focus on their careers. Therefore, the Matrix can create more workers and slaves to make the rich companies more rich. Fellas, let's be honest here. Have you ever seen a happy feminist?
Those girls that was like, oh my God, I can't even imagine not having a career. What would I do all day? Just stay home and try to, like, I could never just be a stay-at-home mom. I agree. Maybe stay at home, too far. Stay-at-home wife? Sounds lit. I can't believe I used to truly feel so empowered by being like, I would never let a man support me fully. It took me 2 years in corporate America to be like, yourself. I would love if somebody came in here and just took care of me. I will wash the dishes. I will go to yoga and make my little ass even cuter for you. Baby, let's live like we're in the 50s again. That's what I want. I'm over it. I am over it. No, I want somebody with money to come into this. Help a girl out.
Now, I want to read you guys this comment from Dina7253. Shout out to her. She says, I worked in a nursing home. I took care of so many single feminists. Sweetheart, that's actually very nice of you because I would have just let them all rot. They all regretted not getting married and having children. Being old and alone is brutal.
Meanwhile,
look, I have a kid. I used to be like that until I had my kid. Now that I have my kid, like, I might be this, oh, I'm a boss bitch, da, da, da. But deep down in my heart, I would do absolutely anything to be at home and be like always with my child.
There you go.
But unfortunately,
and have a man protect you. Stop acting like, stop leaving out the man part. Right. Because for you to be home with your child, that means you got a man holding you down, protecting you.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's right, and that shit's hard. Like, but unfortunately, since I'm by myself, I gotta hustle, you know. But I would do anything to have a man like.
That's what we saying. That's exactly.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you for telling the fuck.
The happiest types of women that I have ever encountered, and gentlemen, closely pay attention next time. The happiest types of women are the ones who are acting in their natural state: feminine, submissive, cooperative, friendly.
My husband is my boss. My husband is number one. If my husband tells me, hey, sit down, I'll sit down. If he tells me you can't go out with your friends today, I'm not gonna go out with my friends. If he says, hey, go wash this dish for me, I'm gonna go wash the dish for him. I chose this man to be the king of my life, and yes, I agree with everything he says, and I do everything he says. And I did that because I chose this man. I put him in this position of my life, and this is how I honor and take care of and love the man in my life. So I tell women out there, you want a man in your life, you want to be happy, figure out what you would do when you are happy. Because I am happy. My husband does so many great things for me. And I would do that for him. I obey him, I respect him, and I let him be the man that he is.
In Cheek Slang Genesis 101, it states, if a girl cooks and she cleans, she's fit and she's feminine, and satisfy every man's needs and wants. My kings, that's like finding a diamond in a bag full of moldy croissants.